You know, I would feel so much more comfortable if we could talk more about Craigslist with the chief of police of Chapel Hill.
I would like to hear his stories.
I would like to hear his stories. So, through the miracle of Twitter, which is a very miraculous thing, we were able to connect with the Chapel Hill Police Department, and the chief of police volunteered to come on the show. He's a handsome man. He's a nice man. Please help me welcome to the stage, Chief Chris Blue.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That's the most exciting part of the show, is to welcome someone on, button my coat, and then immediately unbutton my coat.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to decide if I'm going to button mine or not. Is there a protocol for that?
There is protocol. I sent you an email.
All right. So you said volunteer. Did I volunteer to come to this?
No, it's like police. You were voluntold.
All right. I signed something when I got here earlier, and I thought I was going to get some compensation for that.
We got free water.
Fair enough.
Thanks to the People's
Fair
Channel.
enough.
Whoop, whoop.
That's right, yeah.
It was delicious. It was delicious, too.
So, Chief Lou, you know what? Let's just start with, please tell me you have a Craigslist story.
Well, I don't have any really good Craigslist stories, I have to say. I mean, but I do spend a lot of time on Craigslist because it's
criminals.
Yeah, you can, and
Sting operation.
I will just say that buyer beware. Anytime you go on Craigslist, you need to be careful, and because there is such a thing as fraud out there. I don't have any really funny stories about it, I have to say, but certainly be smart. And I will, in all seriousness, most local law enforcement agencies are glad to host people who might want to come and conduct a transaction in a parking lot of a police headquarters.
So you guys do welcome that?
Sure,
yeah,
absolutely.
I'd actually heard about that, and I was hoping that you guys would.
Cool.
So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Really cool.
And
if you're buying something sketchy on Craigslist, buy it sketchily in the police department.
Right. And if it looks too good to be true, it probably is.
Yes.
But
Except for my couch. I sold that thing for nothing.
But I do love Craigslist, and I spend a lot of time looking at things that I don't need. It's like a lazy person's window shopping, you know. So sometimes I'll find, I'll ask my wife to come in and say, "Don't you think we need this dune buggy?"
So yes,
Right.
yes, you sell it to yourself, right? You're like,
right.
no, I kind of need
Right.
this.
But we don't have the dune buggy.
You don't have a dune buggy?
Not yet.
It was a good deal, though.
Oh, absolutely.
She's right here. We can just look at her sternly. This is.
She's
you
not
have
convinced.
Kids would have loved it.
They would love it. They
It was
would
for the
agree.
kids. It was for the
They would
kids.
agree.
So, all right, what made you? Let's back it all the way up.
Okay.
What made you want to become a police officer? Written by my fiance, who works in media. She gave me that good question.
I needed a job. And there's a little more to that story. I'm from Chapel Hill, and I went to UNC, and when I got out of UNC, I actually had majored in radio, television, motion pictures production.
Motion pictures.
Yeah. In fact, this studio is named after one of my professors at Carolina.
That's awesome.
Bob Gwynn.
Bob Gwynn.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. And when I graduated from UNC, I decided, and so many of my friends who had been in that same department with me decided to move to bigger markets, LA and Atlanta and New York and places like that. And I really didn't want to leave Chapel Hill. So I started trying to find some jobs that would enable me to stay in the area and do something in a community that I love. And I kind of found my way to police work, and it wasn't something I grew up dreaming of doing, but it's turned out to be a dream come true for me. I've built a great career and love the job and love serving my community that way, but certainly not something that I expected. If you'd asked me 20 years ago, or maybe 21 years ago, if this is what I'd be doing, I would certainly not have imagined being a police officer, much less a police chief.
So you had no idea, with the last name Blue, that you were destined to be a chief.
I was
Chief Blue.
totally oblivious to the potential of that name.
You had the whole look and everything.
Yeah,
You had no idea.
Yeah, well, I had hair back when I started. This is just kind of an acquired look.
It was mandatory, right?
Yeah.
Because
It's
you're
just-
so stressed out.
we
pulling your
issue
hair out
the
literally.
bald heads, actually.
Yeah. So, what is the fastest you've ever driven in a car? Yup.
We are. I really can't answer that question until I retire. And I'm pleased to say that we don't really have any roads in this community that allow us to go nearly as fast as we might want to go. I did make the Kessel Run one time in 12 parsecs.
I don't know what any of that means.
Thank you.
It's a joke the audience
Thank
got,
you.
but nobody up here
yeah.
understood.
Just Google it. Okay.
Yeah.
I will do that.
it is. But just all kidding aside, we really there's so much going on in a police car. If you're going to a call in an emergency response way, there's so much going on that although it seems like you're going really, really fast, you're really not going nearly as fast as you think you are, because you've got lights and siren. You're trying to listen to the radio. You're trying to tell dispatchers and the other officers what you're doing.
Yeah, you don't have to drive that fast because you have tons of cars that can go before you.
Well, you've been probably somebody is closer than you are most of the time anyway. So we really don't have to drive that fast, particularly within the city limits, nearly as often as the movies and the TV shows might suggest.
Now,
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
no, because I'm not disappointed, because maybe you weren't part of it, but my fiance and I were driving home. This is the motion for driving, so that everyone understands. Oh, driving, right?
I was confused.
Yeah, it's more helpful for Jack.
Yeah.
So we're driving on 54 in Carborough, and a truck almost hits us in the opposite lane because 3 cop cars are following this person, and they threw out like a cup. So that just added on to the crime. That made me mad. The cup had no part of the story. Just want to tell you, there was littering. I want that added to their charges.
Yeah, well, it may have been.
Yeah.
If an officer saw it, I can assure you it was added to the charges.
Yeah, but I was confused. They were going like 90 miles an hour. And there's all these cop cars following them. I'm like, where are you going? It's Highway 54. For those of you who don't know, Highway 54 is a little highway that's 2 lanes, and it goes from a dense part of town to a dense part of town. You can't go anywhere. So,
Well,
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened either, which probably means nothing really exciting happened if I didn't find out about it, which is good. That's a good day for me.
That's a good thing. Yeah,
that's a good day.
But I'm dying to know. Like,
I'll
what
tell
was
you,
in
I'll
that
check
cup?
it out.
He was like, they're
I'll
going to
check
arrest
it
me for
out.
the cola.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
It's probably diet soda.
So what's now? You see, there's a goofy question and a real question.
Yeah.
Goofy question.
Which one was the last one?
The goofy questions are me, and the real ones are my fiance because she has
All
the
right,
background.
I got you.
Alex, maybe don't sound stupid on camera, and stop eating before you eat. So, what is a moment that made you? What is a moment that made you proud to be a police officer?
Well, I have to tell you, this will be a little bit of a corny answer, but and I sit at a desk most of the time now, so I do very little that's I see that I do very little that's worthy of being proud. But when I was actually working as a police officer, one of the things I say to people, and I really mean it, is that if you work a 12-hour shift as a police officer, at the end of that 12 hours, you can guarantee that you have helped somebody. And a lot of days you help a lot of people. So every day I was proud of what I did. I do have one story that I kind of think back on as one of my most exciting days. And it's a really unfortunate setup, but we came to work one morning. I was working day shift. We came to work and had learned that a really serious sexual assault had happened involving a young runaway from Durham who had come to Chapel Hill and had been sexually assaulted. And we knew who the suspect was. And so we spent all day looking for this person, and some of my buddies and I had developed some information that he might be in a house over on the kind of southern side of Chapel Hill. So we go and knock on the door, and the woman at the house says, "No, he's not in here, and in fact, you can come search." So my buddy and I went and searched the whole house, and the woman was as gracious try that again. Gracious as she could possibly be, and so we were pretty convinced the guy wasn't there. We had finished searching and hadn't seen him. And as we were leaving, I happened to look up, and I see a panel in the ceiling.
Wait, so like movie style, you finished the whole search.
Yes, this is
as you're walking
This
out.
is just like a movie. It's better than a movie because it's real. So I pull a stool over, and I stand on the stool, and I push the panel out of the way, and I pull myself up. And as I pull myself up into the ceiling, I'm nose to nose and eye to eye with the guy we've been looking for all day.
Wow.
And he kind of scrambled back into the ceiling, fell. This is really movie-like. Fell through the ceiling and landed on the bed in an adjacent bedroom. My buddy and I run in there, and we catch this guy who turned out to be a rapist. And I mean, it was, number one, it's terrifying as terrifying for me as it was for him probably to be nose to nose there, but also reminded you just really do not know in this job what the next minute might hold for you.
Okay.
And that's exciting and terrifying, and in this particular case, satisfying all at the same time. We're able to catch somebody who needed to be caught.
Now there's an extra charge for him hiding, right?
I don't.
Be some kind of law.
I don't know. I mean, we were so busy high-fiving that I'm not sure that we ever got around to that.
you're talking, you're like, no one's going to believe this story.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
right?
Well, it's really true.
Yeah.
I have witnesses.
Now, was the person that was hiding him, that's against the law, right?
The hiding part? Oh, well, yes, it is. It is. But again, we were still so busy high-fiving. I don't know if we ever got back to that.
Well, I'm glad that you caught the person.
Me
It's
too.
unfortunate that it happened. At least you caught the person. And
It
you put
is,
them away.
and I don't mean to make light of that at all, because it was a tragic case that led to that arrest. But that arrest did remind me and the folks who were with me that day that, I mean, this really is very serious work, and in an instant, things can change and get very serious very quickly. But you also, the good guys can win, and
Cool.
in fact, they have to win.
I like that. I'm cool with that. Yeah. So, speaking of that,
Yeah.
UNC freshmen have just moved in. Do you have a message for them?
Be careful. Behave yourself. Yeah. Which one am I looking at?
Middle.
That one.
That one,
And really be careful. And we like to call ourselves the guardians of the hill. That's how
I
we.
saw that. Yeah, the little hashtag.
Yeah, man, we take that very seriously. We recognize that many people come to our community. This is their first time away from home, and they're out from under mom and dad's protective wings, and we take very seriously our role in keeping this community and keeping those young people safe. Moms and dads all over the world are counting on us to keep those kids safe. So what I say is be smart. Don't be afraid to call for help if you need it. Use the buddy system, all the same stuff you learned in kindergarten. This is a very safe community. Have a good time, experiment and learn, and be smart.
Cool. I have one word that I want to do. I have one word. Taxis! Taxis!
That's a good one.
Get a taxi!
That's a good one.
My God,
Yeah.
it's so easy.
Yeah.
You won't hurt yourself. You won't hurt others. Just get a taxi.
Yeah, that's a
Sorry,
good one.
I'm really passionate
I
about
agree.
that one. That drives me crazy.
Are you sponsored by a taxi company?
No, but I'll gladly just do it for free. Get a taxi.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Good
Yeah.
advice. Very good advice.
So, on a lighter note, tell us your favorite Halloween story. Actually, let me, if you don't
Yeah,
mind, for people
sure.
that are not from here, Chapel Hill has a huge Halloween party. You've had as much as 80,000 people here
Yeah. Massive.
on one
Yeah.
street,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Yeah.
And I was there once, and I got really inebriated. I don't know how. It was just a mystery. And
You
then
probably were the only one
I
in
was
that
the
state.
only one. Yeah. And I had an Adidas jacket on. That was my costume. Was wearing an Adidas coat. I was a very, very dumb youth. But I would love to hear. You got to have a good Halloween story for us.
Well, I really don't. I mean, and I'm such a killjoy I'm sorry, but I have to tell you, I'm such a killjoy about that event because it's a terrifying event from a public safety point of view. It is fun. It is fun, and people come from miles around to enjoy that event. But
By enjoy, you mean just dress scantily and drink alcohol.
and walk up and down the middle of the road.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought you meant.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is a Friday night in Durham.
But it's such a scary thing.
Boom!
That was good.
That's one of my markets.
That
Love you,
was
Durham.
good. So this year for Halloween, go to Durham. We would really appreciate it.
I love you, Durham, for real. I do love Durham.
No, it's such a scary
Good
thing
burgers.
to see.
They're not the best.
Chicken and waffles.
Please continue. Al's Burger Shack.
no, that's okay. We've gotten the event down to 30,000 or 35,000 attendees, which is still a really scary number. And I know folks think that we're just such killjoys, but the fact of the matter is a group that size, if something were to cause a crowd rush, people would get trampled and injured and maybe killed. And that's what we worry about as the public safety managers who are responsible for that event. It's really scary to see tens of thousands of people in a confined area. There's a lot of anonymity in a crowd that size. One person could do something that would cause that group to run. So I don't really have any great stories. I mean, the best story every year for me is when we get the street cleared and we start cleaning up, running the sweepers up and down the street. Because once you start running those, people start leaving because there's dust and junk flying all over the
I
place.
have always wondered what that part of it looks like.
Well, don't come down and find out.
Yeah, gross.
I'll just tell you about it. Oh, it's gross. I mean, and it is a real mess, and it's a very expensive event. I mean, we spend somewhere between $175,000 and $200,000 on that event every year.
Does it bring money in for the city, though?
Well,
Somehow, or more for the businesses?
I think the bars and restaurants are busy, and they certainly are generating sales tax revenue that makes its way back into the city coffers eventually. I would not call it a revenue generator for the community, and as I said, I don't mean to sound like such a wet blanket about it, but from a management point of view, it's really scary.
Like, yeah, this is our day.
Well, they've heard this
Favorite
before.
part is sweeping. That's the best part of Halloween.
He's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sorry, and stay home, please. Stay home.
My favorite part of Halloween is staying home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bring. We'll deliver candy to you if you'll stay home. Hey, maybe that's something we should try. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of
would
candy
love
though? Like
What
grandma
kind do you
candy?
want? No, the real hard kind of candies, like peppermints or something.
Pepper.
Yeah, the good stuff.
These are called the stay-at-home mints. Thank you
Yeah.
for staying at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to the real nitty-gritty.
Okay.
We've gotten pretty serious. We have to
Yeah.
go deeper. So get ready for this one. Cops and donuts are a stereotype.
Are they?
However, I mean, is that true?
That it's a stereotype? Yes, that is true.
So you think like there's really not that close of an affiliation? It's just more that people have it in media, you know. But seriously, Krispy Kreme or Dunkin' Donuts?
Krispy
You
Kreme.
gotta tell me.
Krispy Kreme.
Wrong.
It's not
Wrong.
even a horse race.
Wrong.
That's wrong.
Where are you from?
Wrong.
Where are you from? You're not
Okay.
from around here.
No, I'm not from around here.
Right. All right. Well, that explains it. That explains it.
Yeah.
You sure that explains it?
Well, that may explain at least this.
The fact that I have good taste. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, that you're right. Yeah,
Boom,
yeah. I mean, that
roasted.
explains it that you're
Roasted.
correct. Yeah, yeah.
I am born and raised in Rhode Island.
Okay. Well,
Whoop,
you
whoop.
should be a Dunkin' person.
Yeah.
But we're Krispy Kreme people down here.
You are Krispy Kreme
Yeah.
people. However, Krispy Kreme abandoned you.
They did, and I
at
will
that.
tell you, I'm a little ashamed of that. I mean, I cannot imagine that our local police department could not have kept them in business, and it kind of breaks my heart that we did not. But I will say that when I would go in there, and occasionally I would go get donuts for the office on a Friday morning, and I would dash in and dash out in hopes that no one would take a picture of me with my armload of donuts to take back to the office. So maybe if I'd been a little
For
more
your
willing,
police friends.
right? If I'd been
Not
a little,
definitely
for
do that.
yourself.
right?
In your office.
No, I don't eat them. I don't eat
Halloween
those.
stinks.
I'm more a biscotti kind of guy.
So you choose Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, all day long.
So you're siding with Matt Hughes.
On this particular subject, yes.
So now it's 2-2. You and Matt Hughes. Matt, you're wrong.
Wrong. He is wrong.
Chief Blue, you're a great guy. You're
Thanks.
so wrong.
Thanks.
Wrong. Yeah, wrong.
And then for me, I am with Dunkin' Donuts with Mayor Mark.
Really?
That's correct.
Well, I'll talk to the mayor about that. I'm
He'll talk to
surprised.
you
I'm
about that,
surprised to hear
Chief
that.
Blue.
Well, he may get me corrected. I do prefer Dunkin's coffee. I will say that. So how is that for
Well, how's
straddling
Krispy
the
Kreme's coffee?
fence?
Oh, they don't have any coffee.
They do. It's just
No,
not particularly
don't call it
good.
coffee.
It's just not
Don't-
very
don't
good.
call it.
It's not coffee.
No, it's not very good.
It's not coffee.
Well, Chief Blue, I think your final word to the people was, don't come to Halloween.
Oh yeah, don't come to. I think my final word before that was something about coffee. Yeah, I was thinking, man, I didn't know it was going to be a quiz. Yeah, don't come to Halloween, and if you do come, and I know many people will not heed my words, and they will come. Be careful, be safe, and when we ask you to go home, go home,
And don't be a criminal.
and don't be a criminal. That's
That'd be
always
awesome.
good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Don't
good
be a
for anything.
criminal.
That's good advice.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Chris Blue. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Chief Blue, come on, Uncle AFS, you got this.
You know,
Just do it.
get in there.
We're gonna, can you see the very last line there? Kathleen, just so you got a shout out.
It's the Alex Bennett Show. It's the Alex Bennett
All right,
Show.
guys, so we're all going
Got
to.
laughs and jokes for all you folks. It's the Alex Bennett Show. It's the Alex Bennett Show. It's the Alex Bennett Show. We got